Today, we're delving into a sensitive yet critical topic: the potential dangers of fixating your attention on a single woman, particularly in the nascent stages of a connection. Welcome to Stoic Society. We blend timeless Stoic wisdom with insights into female psychology. We'll explore how Stoicism can help you build inner strength, stay emotionally grounded, and improve your relationships. Plus, I'll give you practical advice on understanding women and even how to win back your ex. No games, just real growth. If you're ready to level up your mind, your emotions, and your relationships, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for your daily dose of power-packed insights. While this might strike some as unconventional, it's a perspective that warrants exploration. When an individual channels all their emotional and temporal resources into one exclusive relationship, particularly before solid foundations are established, they risk setting themselves up for emotional vulnerability and potential disappointment. The insidious nature of obsessive attachment, a gradual eclipse obsession, much like a creeping vine, can quickly entwine itself around your perceptions. It begins subtly, perhaps with a heightened interest, but swiftly evolves into an all-encompassing preoccupation. Initially, you might perceive it as dedication, a sign of genuine interest. However, what often transpires is a gradual erosion of your own identity, a subtle relinquishment of your personal agency. Focusing excessively on one individual early on can create a form of tunnel vision, obscuring the broader landscape of your life. You begin to neglect your own needs, your personal aspirations, and even the core values that define you. Standards, once firmly established, begin to waver and ultimately dissolve, often without conscious awareness. You might overlook instances of inconsistency or dismiss flimsy excuses, driven by a desire to maintain the connection. This behavior stems from an intense craving for validation. You become preoccupied with seeking her approval, transforming her into the central figure in your narrative. In this process, your objectivity is compromised, and you begin to perceive the relationship through a lens of wishful thinking rather than empirical reality. She transitions from a real person with her own complexities to an idealized projection of your desires. This projection, however, is palpable. Women are remarkably adept at detecting when a man's emotional investment is disproportionately high. The truth is, such behavior often resembles a pursuit rather than a mutual relationship. It's a one-sided endeavor where you're expending significant emotional energy on a dynamic that has yet to solidify. This imbalance is where the vulnerability lies. You're investing time, emotional capital, and personal energy into a hypothetical construct, a relationship that exists more in your imagination than in reality. You're all in while she remains detached. Consequently, you might begin to disregard warning signs, overlooking inconsistencies in her behavior. You might rationalize her lack of reciprocation, her prioritization of other commitments, or her clear indication of keeping her options open. However, you've already committed emotionally and mentally to this single individual. When the relationship doesn't progress as anticipated, the emotional toll can be profound. You might find yourself plagued by self-doubt. While you're consumed by this one-sided dynamic, she continues to navigate her life, exploring her options, leaving you in a state of emotional limbo. This isn't a relationship. It's a form of self-abandonment. The erosion of personal power. A subtle surrender, here's the stark reality. Early and exclusive focus on one individual leads to a diminishment of your personal power. This is a phenomenon rarely discussed, yet it carries significant implications. You might rationalize your behavior as dedication, an expression of genuine care. However, what you're actually doing is incrementally surrendering control. Every instance of waiting for her response, canceling social engagements, or postponing personal goals to accommodate her schedule is a concession of your autonomy. Initially, this dynamic might be subtle, but it can quickly escalate into an unhealthy dependency where your emotional equilibrium is contingent upon her attention. When she becomes the sole focus of your existence, you relinquish your position as the architect of your own destiny. You're allowing her to dictate your mood, your schedule, and ultimately your sense of value. You've inadvertently entered a power dynamic where she holds the dominant position. Women possess a keen awareness of such shifts. They can sense when a man is emotionally invested to an excessive degree. And it's important to clarify that women appreciate attention. However, they also value a man who maintains his personal integrity and autonomy. When you engage in behaviors such as chasing her approval, responding instantaneously to every communication, and rearranging your life to fit her schedule, you diminish your attractiveness. You cease to be the confident, independent individual she initially found appealing. Instead, you become someone who seeks her validation to affirm their self-worth. You've placed your happiness in her hands. Each instance of unresponsiveness triggers anxiety. Each canceled plan leads to a decline in your mood. You're subjected to an emotional roller coaster with her controlling the trajectory. This loss of emotional control transforms you into a passive participant, dependent on her action. Behaviors such as constant check-ins, seeking reassurance, and waiting for her every move project an aura of neediness, which is a significant deterrent. When a woman realizes that she's the center of your universe, it can create a sense of pressure. She desires to be a part of your life, but not its sole determinant. The absence of mystery, challenge, and excitement diminishes the allure of the connection. Women, like men, appreciate the dynamics of pursuit. You might perceive your behavior as dedication, but it conveys a message of vulnerability, granting her undue influence. She now possesses the ability to dictate your emotional state with a single action or inaction. You're investing resources into a dynamic that lacks reciprocity. Remember, personal power in relationships stems from maintaining independence. Over-focusing on one individual leads to a loss of power, control, and respect. Cultivating personal power and maintaining options. A strategy for self-preservation. The solution lies in achieving balance, in cultivating a life that extends beyond a single connection. Maintain your personal passions. Pursue your goals, and remember that you possess intrinsic value. Cease making her the focal point of your existence. Women are attracted to men who exhibit purpose, drive, and autonomy. Instead of fixating on her emotional state, prioritize your own personal development. Engage in physical fitness to enhance your well-being. Pursue personal projects to cultivate your skills. Nurture social connections to maintain a balanced life. Genuine investment in your own growth enhances your attractiveness. Confidence stems from competence and progress. When you're pursuing your aspirations, you won't feel the need to pursue her. When a woman observes your commitment to self-improvement, it creates an irresistible allure. Focus on your growth and allow her to be drawn to you. When she recognizes that you have a life beyond her, she'll desire to be a part of it. She'll feel compelled to pursue you, knowing that she's not your sole priority. This is how you preserve your personal power. Concluding remarks. Safeguarding self-worth. Refrain from making any woman your everything until she demonstrates that she merits such a position. Until then, focus on yourself and keep moving forward. Hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for your daily dose of power-packed insights.